course. Terrific. It's showing me live on YouTube. And I've got the live check mark on Facebook. So I am just going to check in one other place, Dennis, to make sure that we are actually live indeed on Facebook. And if you are hopping on and you're waiting for us to get started, give us that thumbs up. Let us know you hear us, you see us fine, so we can actually get this kicked off. I know Dennis is busy, and I want to be sure we maximize the time that we have with him. So I just want to give Facebook a quick minute to alert folks. And who we can get. Awesome. Okay, so it looks like I've at least have one thumbs up, so it means that we are seen. So we're going to go ahead and get started and kicked off. Today's broadcast, it is Tuesday, and today's broadcast is exciting because I have with me the store manager for Walmart, the Walmart that's located here on 92nd and Sheridan in Westminster. Before I get started on why we have Walmart with us and Dennis here representing them, I want to backtrack and let you know that if you're just now hopping on, you've not been to our page before, please make sure that you like the page. If you already like it, make sure you also follow it so you can get those timely updates when we are live, and you can get alerted and know that you should be dropping everything you're doing so you can tune into our broadcast. As you all should be aware by now, I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And I'm thrilled to be here today. As many of you heard in yesterday's broadcast and even last week, we're really starting to shift the dialogue in our live broadcast. It will still feature content and information that's geared to help you as a business that's reopening or reevaluating things since COVID kind of shook things up. But we're also going to be highlighting our success stories in the community and really bringing together some key businesses that have been doing things over the last several months that we want to highlight as an example for you, and so you can be knowledgeable, whether it's something you want to implement in your business or just for your overall knowledge and comfort, so you can go and shop and do business with them. So hello to you, State Representative Tracy Kraft-Tharp. I see that you're live with us and tuning in, so thank you so much. Today I have with me, and I briefly introduced him earlier when I mentioned Walmart off of 92nd and Sheridan. We have store manager Dennis with us, and Dennis has taken a nice 30-minute block out of his window to share with us everything that Walmart's kind of been doing, some things that they've implemented over this time, and some things you can learn from. But if you have any questions or comments that you want us to address, please be sure that you type them into the comment section of this broadcast, and we'll be sure to take some time to answer that at the end. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself for now, and then I'll have Dennis get us started and just share as much as he'd like from it, and then we'll take up some questions and give shout outs and kudos where we can.
So my name is Dennis, store manager at Walmart store 2223 and 92nd and Sheridan in Westminster. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you, Juliette, for allowing me the opportunity to take a few minutes and talk about what we're doing as a store, as a company, and just kind of give a little bit of insight as to where we're going. So from day one, we have never closed our doors. We've been open the entire time, and we've taken a lot of steps to ensure the safety of both our associates and our customers. We do a associate health screening each and every day. We have a questionnaires that we go through. We can do it digitally, or we can do it right there in person and answer those questions. Then we do a temp. You get your temperature checked at the beginning of that as well. So if you show signs of a fever, anything above 100, you will automatically go home. Now, the company has done some gracious things in paying some associates and doing some things of that sort. We're trying to keep it safe for the associates and customers. Our vendors, anybody who's going to spend more than 15 minutes in our store, they are all checked as well. Some of them are checked when they go through their distribution plans and things like that. And some of them come directly from home. So when they come into our store, they get checked as well. Another step to help keep our associates and our customers safe. We have segregated a associate entrance, and the vendors actually use that as well. So we don't have an associate or a vendor getting into the building without being checked. So that's always nice. We have a entrance where they come in and an entrance where they get, or an exit where they go out. We actually have added or layered on more maintenance so that we can do a bunch of things to help keep clean, go that extra step up the cleaning process. We are closing early at 8:30 to ensure that we're able to have some time to do that deep cleaning. A lot of people think that when we close at 8:30, we send everybody home 8:30, 9 o'clock. That is far from the truth. We keep people here till 11, 12 o'clock, cleaning, disinfecting, going through, making sure that the handles on all of the freezer doors, the dairy doors, all of the bunkers are wiped down, taken care of. We sanitize all the shopping carts every single hour. We actually buy 55-gallon barrels of sanitizer. And we have a spray backpack that we actually go and spray all the handles and all of the edges of the carts and the bottoms of each and every cart every hour. So we have associates wearing gloves in high traffic areas. Anybody who's dealing with money or in a high contact area, they'll all be wearing gloves. Every associate and vendor will be wearing a face mask or a face shield, something to cover. So that the spread is reduced or eliminated. We have, in the beginning, we offered masks to our customers. It worked a little bit. Not everybody was eager about wearing them. We would hand them out and we would find unused ones just in the cart, thrown on the floor, you name it, laying on the counter. So from that perspective, it may or may not have been beneficial. We also, every associate in the building has a bottle of hand sanitizer, and we have refillable bottles that we actually utilize to help keep our associates stocked up on that, so they never have to worry about it. They are pulling out that sanitizer out of their pocket on a regular basis. For a while, we actually went directional entrance and exit. We entered on the south side of the grocery side, and then we exited on the north end down by the GM entrance. And in the beginning, that was working well. We did have a lot of customer complaints about, hey, I have to walk all the way across the front of the store or things like that. But the customers weren't all eager to come in and out one side of the vestibule. So we had to do some things kind of drastic in the beginning to get everybody's attention so that we could actually implement that 6-foot social distancing, because we had a lot of people who they had come in both sides of the doors on the grocery side, and you had people trying to exit, and it just they would wind up face to face. And so we had to go that extra step to make that happen. And then as we went on, it was a little bit easier to get the customer trained. Hey, this is the side you enter on. This is the side you exit on. And we were able to open both sides back up to each entrance and exit. We also went directional signing in our aisles. So at the beginning of one aisle, it may say, enter or shop this way. And on the next aisle, it will say, do not enter, do not shop this way. So we're trying to keep people from coming face to face so that they don't have to worry about it. So basically, it just zigzags down around the store and, keeps our customers a little bit safer. We also have 6-foot stickers placed at the registers, self-checkouts throughout the store to remind everybody 6-foot social distancing. We have closed some of our self-checkouts in areas where there's not 6-foot spacing. So we've actually removed 3 registers from service just so we can maintain that 6-foot social distancing. Some of the belted registers face each other. So when you're standing on one side and you're checking out the other side, you're not 6 feet apart. So we actually shut that one, took those 2 completely out of service. So we don't have that issue. It is an inconvenience to the customer who would like to check out large orders. However, to do the right thing, sometimes you have to make it so that it's clear that you don't want those situations to happen. We tried really hard to open every other point of sale so that we don't have so many people compacted into one area. Certainly, when you think about that, if we can get to every other register, we clearly have a register and an aisle in between each one, so that gives you that spacing. Is that perfect? No. Sometimes we get to a point where we have more people in here than that want to check out at the same time than makes it work. So we're going to take care of that customer. We're going to do the right thing, but our goal is to continue to keep that spacing open. We have hand sanitizer that is back in the meat department. We've taken and added another one. We had 2 in the back. We left one back there. We brought 2 of them to the doors, 1 for each side. So not only do we have the wipes at the front door, we've sanitized the carts. We now have the hand sanitizer there as well. My light went out. Sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
Light that shuts me out. So we move those sanitizers to the front so that the customer feels comfortable and safe. You know, sometimes they question, well, when was the last time you sanitized? Well, 30 minutes ago, you know, and you're going through all this stuff, and sometimes the customers don't truly think that you're doing what you say you're doing. And sometimes, like in the beginning, we would have customers come up to us. They'd be standing outside because we'd be metering them coming in, and I would go out and explain to them that, hey, when you grab that cart, the handle and everything's going to be wet because that's sanitizer, and it just got completed. So certainly there's opportunities with that communication to make everybody feel better about what we're doing. In stock on cleaning wipes at the front doors, touch-free checkout. So now there's the opportunity that you don't even have to slide your card, do anything. You can just do touch-free checkout. We stopped taking cloth items back. That be sheets, pillows, things like that for a short period of time. We have since returned to our regular return process. But in the beginning, we stopped taking that back because it was talked about that that coronavirus could be spread through those soft surface contacts. We ensured every register in the store has paper towels and cleaning supplies, and we're making sure that we're utilizing those consistently. Not that we weren't before, but now it's clearly evident. People are cleaning almost after every single customer. In our lounge for our associates, we've actually taken the break room tables, and we've gone to about a third of the tables that were in there previously, and we put 2 chairs at each table to help with that social distancing. We set up some tables out in our auto care center so that they can eat out there as well, so that everybody has a chance and an opportunity to sit down and eat and do the things necessary. Because at those busy times when you have 380 associates, sometimes there's not enough table space and things like that if it's a high time for lunches and stuff. So we've also gone to no touch returns. Some of that you can start the return online through your Walmart app, and some of those things you don't even have to return to the store. Some of those things you do. It just depends on that situation. We put up sneeze guards at each register in the pharmacy customer service, so that when you're communicating with those customers, there's a little bit of a barrier between the two. So we instituted a no sign for pickup today. So that being when the customer orders pickup today, they come in and they get their item. They no longer touch the kiosk because we turned it off. We do have those asset protection hosts there at the front door that actually communicate with everybody about, hey, we got a customer at pickup, so we can get somebody up there right away if they're not already up there taking care of the workload. And with that, so once we dispense that item to the customer, they no longer have to sign for it. We actually just have a touch-free pad for that. We removed all benches and chairs from around the store. Sometimes not quite so popular, especially with our older clientele who likes to, hey, he brings the wife in and she does the shopping. He sits up there and waits for her while she shops. Or sometimes, you just get tired and you'd like a place to sit. your legs bothering you, your foot's bothering you or something. Unfortunately, what happens is if we leave those benches and things out, people sit on them, and pretty soon we've got 2 or 3 people on that bench, and all of a sudden there's no 6-foot spacing. So that social distancing isn't there. We've also we placed tape outside. I talked about metering a little while ago. Our capacity for the store is a little bit over 5,000 people. We actually took it to 20% in the very beginning. And when the food sales were just going gangbusters, we were like, oh man, this is way too many. We got too many people up and down the aisles. So we actually took that capacity back to 600 people. And we're still metering today at 600 people. So our goal is to have no more than that in our store at one time. Now, how do you do that? We actually have an iPad that the 2 doors are linked to, that actually you add person when they come in and you subtract when they go out. So the 2 are linked, and you just continue to add and subtract. And then if we get to about 580 people, we'll actually stop them outside at the door. We communicate a lot about, hey, this is why we're doing it. This is what the plan is for execution. As people leave, we'll let more people in so that everybody understands, and we try not to keep them waiting out there very long. Now, typically what's been happening is when they come in to get a shopping cart, the vestibule is where the compaction typically happens. So, you'll have one person trying to get a cart, another person wanting to come in. So that's the reason we're stopping them outside. But life is getting a little bit more normal from that shopping perspective. So we haven't had to do that except for weekends. So that's kind of how that's gone. We have tape, put tape on our outside entrance for 6-foot spacing. We have bike barricades so that if we are having to meter, then they get in line. If we're not having to meter, we just open a little chain that we've got, and they just come straight in so that they don't have to walk all the way around to get in. We still have senior shopping Tuesdays. So every morning at 6 a.m. Every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. We are allowing seniors in from 6 to 7, and then we open the doors to the general public. We are still having some limitations on some items, that being your Clorox wipes, some things like that, your chicken, things that we are short on, that we can't seem to acquire enough, trying to take care of each and every customer so that one person doesn't come in and buy everything up. So the ability to try to satisfy, a dozen or 100 customers is a whole lot better than, trying to, have 3 or 4 people buy a whole bunch and then nobody else get any. So our goal is to satisfy as many people as possible. We did close the fitting room to minimize the spread through the fabric and clothes. So that hasn't always been a popular choice either. Our customers want to try on clothes before they purchase them, like most people do. So to see what the fit is like and how the fabric is and that kind of stuff. So we've actually had a lot of impacted customers in that regard. So we're working on getting back to that. We don't have the fitting rooms opened back up yet, but maybe here in the near future, we'll be getting to that point. We have also rolled out online grocery pickup early. So we weren't supposed to go live till August 4th. We actually have been live now about 7 weeks, and we're taking care of about 40 customers a day through online grocery pickup. So we're actually going to launch July 2nd on grocery home delivery. So that those items that the customers order will be able to be delivered to their home. Okay. Making that shopping experience better. I mean, some of the customers still aren't comfortable in coming out. So we've also implemented pharmacy curbside pickup. So customers can come to get their pharmacy prescriptions and not even have to get out of their car. They can call the store, tell them they're parked in a pharmacy curbside pickup number 1, and the pharmacy tech will bring those prescriptions out to them. So we're trying to do things to make everybody's life a little bit easier and to help the community in this tough situation.
That was perfect, Dennis. Oh my gosh. So much that I want to pick apart. I do want to take a quick second. We had a lot of folks hop on during our broadcast. Hi, Phil, Peter, Wayne Anderson. It looks like Counselor Scully. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for also hopping on as well. Lauren Seymour, Danielle Hicks. If I've skipped you, give me a thumbs up so I can make sure that I capture you and I don't have to look on my phone as well. There is a question, and I'll go ahead and ask this question, and then I'll come to some of what you've shared. If you're just hopping on, we have with us Dennis from Walmart on 92nd and Sheridan. Dennis is their store manager and has just highlighted over the last 20 minutes some really great things that they've been doing. And I loved how he touched on consumer side. He touched on what they're doing for their employees, and then also on their vendor relations. So there were three dynamics there, and I want him to delve in on certain ones here in a second. This question comes to us from Danielle Hicks. Danielle is asking, are the shops inside open? And it looks like she's really only interested in one, the eye clinic, but in general, I know you lease out nails, you have a big, if I'm not mistaken, and then the eye clinic. So what do those look like right now?
Yes, we do have them all open. Some of them have reduced hours. The doctor is in only a couple of days a week, and then the technicians are actually taking care of the glasses and doing all the stuff with the eyes. The eyeglasses for about 4 hours a day. McDonald's is open. The bank is open. Like I said, they're not all open full hours though.
Thank you for sharing that, because I know that's been a question that we've gotten quite a bit. This question comes to us from Counselor Scully, and I'll go ahead and display it, Dennis. It's a little bit larger, so I'm going to skim through it real quick and then condense it as much as possible. This is in regard to Walmart closing early. So about a week and a half ago, we had some inquiries, especially with some of the protests that are going on nationwide. We've seen some trends with Target's closing locations and things like that. So a question came up during that broadcast with our mayor on Walmart, and so some folks had chimed in and said, oh, well, our locations here are closing at about 5 o'clock. So I just wanted to give you a framework of kind of where that came from. So they've heard that Walmart is closing early. What time do you close? How has this been communicated to employees, and why close early? I know she did say that she joined a little late, and Counselor Scully, we did touch, and I put that in the comments. Dennis did touch on them closing early so that they can actually keep cleaning and sanitizing. And I noted the times on there. I believe we said 8 o'clock, and then they're cleaning until 11 p.m., sometimes till midnight, to make sure that everything is sanitary. I'm going to mute myself and give you a chance to answer this.
So we are closing at 8:30. We lock the doors at 8:30. We allow the customers to continue to shop. Generally, the last customer is approximately 9 o'clock before they leave the store. We were closing early at 5 o'clock. There was a lot of unrest in the country, I guess you would say. And to be honest with you, we had some situations around the country where our stores were vandalized, looted, burned, you name it. So our goal is to keep our associates and our customers safe. So what we did was closed at 5 o'clock for about 9 days, I want to say. And then we reevaluated the situation. We did get tagged at our location once. And so we were able to get that all cleaned up and get that taken care of. Hopefully there weren't too many pictures of that stuff that went viral or anything, but we try to do the best we can to be a good steward in the community. And we want to help our customers and our associates be safe every single day. As I said, we open at 7 a.m. till 8:30 p.m. each and every day. On Tuesday, we open at 6 for our senior citizens to shop from 6 to 7. The pharmacy is open as well at that time so that the customers can get their prescriptions. I have had some complaints that customers cannot buy beer at that time. They cannot buy beer until 8 o'clock. So there was some communication about that. Why can we shop early, but we can't buy our beer?
Oh, that's so funny. You're kind of get to the retirement days right now.
I know.
Oh, that's too funny. So, and I, what I love the most every time that you and I visit, and why we like to bring you on and interact with you, is the element of community. And sometimes when people just see the brand as Walmart, they're not seeing the individual stores and the efforts that you guys are making for each of them. And so I always like to be able to feature you on here so that they can hear exactly what you're doing, that it's more than just, profit driven, that you're actually trying to also take care of the staff and the team that you've had. Dennis, there were several things that you touched on, and I want to kind of go back to a couple if that's okay, so we can go in detail on that. There was an instance where he mentioned, so the fitting room was an example. Sometimes when you get 580 people that are coming to shop and you have that 600 mark of how many you'd like in your store. We also had whenever the barricades were up, so they were entering from the south entrance and then exiting the north, if I'm not mistaken, or if I got that wrong. So that caused a little bit of frustration, as I'm sure everybody can imagine, as a customer, because you're going in there, you parked on one side, you're running in through that, but now you've got to go all the way to the opposite, or you're in a hurry and trying to get something for lunch, but now it's delayed and you're going to have to wait until they've cleared up a little bit. I'm sure that was not as an understanding approach as most people anticipate, and so there may have been some friction from your customers. How did you deal with some of that conflict or pushback that you may have been receiving from your consumers?
So I think the biggest thing is communication. So if you let the customers know what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing, you're not trying to penalize them or punish them to come in one door and have to walk all the way across the store and out the other door back to the south side where they parked. That's not what it's about. It's about taking care of each other and doing the right thing, ensuring that our customers understand that we're trying to mitigate the impact or the potential risk of contacting COVID-19. Some people, they don't understand. They think it's a hoax. They don't believe in what COVID-19 is about. They think that it's all a ploy. It's all made up, and they get a little frustrated. Equally as frustrating as some customers wearing masks and some customers not wearing masks. It's not required. It's recommended, and some people want to force their will on somebody else, and we have to get involved and have that honest, open conversation.
Absolutely. And hello, Joe. Thanks for hopping on with us. So on that note, Dennis, there were a couple of times that I've personally been in there, and you've used your announcements, your overall system for the store. How have you found that to be? I mean, it's one of the ways that people are always interested in knowing is how do you communicate, right? And so a lot of businesses are using their websites. They're sending out mass emails and letting people know, here's COVID, here's what we're doing to maintain safety and standards. But you all have that element of being able to communicate right then and there. And how do you use that?
So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll set up an exact script that we want our fitting room attendant to read so that our customers understand clearly what we're doing and why we do it. It's never more frustrating than not knowing what's going on and how you're supposed to react or respond when you do not know. So the conversation and communication has got to be key. If you don't have that, then everybody gets frustrated, and that's when tempers flare or things get out of control.
And before we started this broadcast, Dennis and I were talking about the volume and people shopping and the peak times and peak holidays. So in a perfect world, Dennis, when would people be looking at shopping for the 4th so that it doesn't cause too much of an imbalance on our stores, but also allows them to get the things that they want?
So I think the biggest thing there is have a plan as to what you're going to do. If everybody were to come shopping on Thursday night so that they could leave town on Friday, to be gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then certainly we might hit our peak capacity of the 580 customers in the store on that Thursday night. And then at that point, we'll have to start metering. Certainly nobody wants to be frustrated and unhappy or dissatisfied because they're standing outside when they could be shopping and they want to get their camper or their stuff packed up so that they can go on vacation, go do their stuff for the 4th of July weekend. So I would encourage people, don't wait till the last minute. Certainly we have a weekend that'll be prior to that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, certainly. And then after you get past Friday, it's just busy days. And then everybody will be able to come and go on a regular basis, because what typically happens on a long weekend like that is you have good strong days, but nothing out of control where you're having to meter all the people that way.
Oh, that's so funny. Your room doesn't think that you're moving enough, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so funny. So I can keep picking your brain for a long period of time. You touched on a lot of things. I want to be respectful of your time. I know that you are probably getting dinged throughout this whole time, and so listening to me and listening to what you have going on, I'm super appreciative of. If you are just now tuning into the broadcast or you're watching it on replay, please give us that hashtag replay. I see a couple of people that hopped on. I know I gave a shout out to Joe and our one of our past chairs, Brian. Thanks for coming on here with us. Dennis, you did so great with sharing from supporting your employees with more spacing in their back, setting up areas that they can be eating in, the entrances that are available to them that are in different areas, checking up on them through health screens and also checking temps once they're coming in on a daily basis, and equipping them even when they're on the floor. So in high sensitivity areas, and they're wearing those gloves, those cashiers are having their paper towels, they've got spray, they have hand sanitizers, everyone does in their products. The hand sanitizers are staggered all over the store from our meat departments where it's crucial to the entrances. So just a wealth of information that you shared about how you're supporting your employees. And then I loved how you were sharing, here's what we're doing for customers from, limiting capacity, but also watching the trends. So when it did start to pile up or people were starting to come face to face, you started using those corrective directional signs. And I've seen those, enter through this area, or here's your 6-foot measure that's there. And then really leveraging the intercom for different announcements. I know I've heard it's recommended for you to wear masks, or I've also heard don't stand as close, try and maintain 6-foot distance. So really communicating with the customers as well has been crucial. Kudos to you on leading the charge for the online ordering, and now hopefully in July being able to deliver. I think that's going to be amazing for some of the people that are either unable to get there in time, especially the seniors if they can't get there in a certain hour block, or for those of us that may be incredibly busy doing something else, but we want to get home and be able to find our goods. Hello to Councilor Bold. I'm just doing a quick recap. And then you also shared about your vendors, which I thought was awesome to note. If they're there for 15 minutes or longer, that you're also implementing those health checks with them as well, even though they're being checked by who they represent and the companies that they've been sent to. So your hands are in everything, and it seems like one of the important things for all of our businesses that are watching is communication has been key for Walmart across the grid with their employees, their vendors, and their customers. They've tested things. So it wasn't like you just did one thing and that's what you stuck with. I mean, after the barricades, now you can actually enter and go out from normal entrances. And the same with timing. You had some hiccups with national things and things that were going down in the Capitol, so you adjusted and then you readjusted. So the fluidity and allowing you to do something back and forth is something that I think as businesses we should be more prone and open to understanding is we don't have to just do one thing. If it's not hitting right, let's think and get people to absorb it through a different capacity. So I hope I've done well by kind of summarizing everything you've touched on. I've included almost everything you shared frantically in the comment section of this broadcast. For anyone that's just hopping on, you can please go through and see what Walmart's been doing. I guarantee you it's a lot more than you would have expected. So this last question does come about meat packing facilities. They've been in the news lately. Has Walmart had trouble acquiring any foods or goods? We'll have you answer this question and then I'll wrap up.
So to be honest with you, we did have a point where we really struggled to acquire product. We would go, we would get meat and stuff in, and only like 2 pallets. It would be gone by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, to be honest with you, and the counter was completely empty. And I don't know if when you stop and think about that from a store perspective, you're like, man, I'm letting all these customers down. How do I get this fixed? How do I take care of it? And it was very discouraging, because we want to satisfy every customer, not just the customers who come in early in the morning, but that customer who's been working all day and wants to take care of their, get out and get their stuff done, and then come shopping afterwards. They were at a disadvantage because that stuff doesn't come in until like 5 or 6 in the morning is when it came in, and we stocked it as soon as we got it to, get the customers taken care of. Now, since then, everything's been going pretty well. Here the last, 2 weeks, we've been getting much more meat. I am told that there's still going to be a shortage over 4th of July on some chicken. There's going to be a shortage on some beef. So your ground beef and some stuff like that. We seem to have a lot of steaks, but not a lot of ground beef. So frozen beef patties, things like that, we're struggling to get our hands on. So when you think about that, they're trying to take care of the basics, and some of the other cuts and things like that are not being tended to. Other things that we're struggling with, not just in the meat, but in fresh produce, some of the crops and stuff are not being able to get out of the fields and stuff. So there's a little bit of a shortage. Like 4th of July, they're talking that there's going to be a shortage on corn on the cob. We're struggling to acquire enough to satisfy and take care of customers. So I think every part of the industry is going to be impacted a little bit. I mean, everybody knows we're struggling with some of the stuff that we purchase or that we have made in China. It's a 7-week delay right now on things coming out of China. So when you stop and look at that, some of the things we're not able to get our hands on and acquire. They've taken the ability to order at store level out of our hands at this point. So there are very few things that we can order. A couple of things we can order stuff today, and it might fall off the order and not be able to be filled come tomorrow. But we are working very hard and diligently to try to fill end caps, do things like that to take care of the customers, make sure that everything that we've got in the building is seasonally relevant. That summertime, 4th of July barbecue type stuff, and really ensure that the customer has the things that they truly want.
And, I think one of the things you mentioned earlier, and that was a limit on select items, but, we did a food kind of a sustainability. It's actually sustainability at home and how do you practice it during this time. And one of the things that Republic Services had mentioned was the amount of food waste that's currently happening. And it's because people are buying so much more than they actually need. They're not using it before it goes bad. So especially during this time and before, you go off and you buy all those excess meat patties that you might need, please make sure that you are mindful when you're making those purchases and only buy really what you're going to use, so that there's enough for those other people that are looking for that as well. So I thought that was a great question. Thank you for answering it so succinctly, Dennis. Hello to you, Katie. We are actually way out of time. We're going to go ahead and conclude our draw. I know I told you, Dennis, when to get me going. I'm just like, this is awesome. I'm fired up. But we will be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. We actually will have with us Kokopelli Beer Company. So another example of a business that's been operating during the time of COVID and has rephased their opening plan. And what we're really trying to do is highlight different industry for you. So if one is more relevant than the next and really reflects your line of work, you can pick up something or two or learn from someone that's doing something completely different. But I do thank everybody for tuning in with me and Dennis today. And I thank you, Dennis, for taking the time to be with us. I wish you a fantastic 4th of July. And good luck, because I know you have the 1st and the 4th back to back. So it's going to be a crazy time, but I know you guys can handle it. You're doing terrific. And thank you for investing in our community and always making the time to really show the impact that you're trying to leave behind of positivity and bringing people together.
Thank you for allowing us to be on, Juliet. I appreciate it.
Bye, Dennis.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.